listen to you on a fairly regular basis.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you say,
Good.
but I think I kind of have a greater understanding of where you're coming from because you've looked your limitations right in the face. And as a result of not having a whole lot to offer a woman, you've lost your gentlemanly tendencies.
Oh, yes. Is that what you think? Dear, because I've got money, power, and fame, I can get any woman I want. I don't have to hold the door open for anybody.
But it's meaningless. It has absolutely no value.
Maybe it's meaningless to you, but to me, every day is like Sunday. Every day is like, life is wonderful.
Well, I respect your opinion, and I agree with you completely. I think you're one in a very few number of men who recognizes his limitations and modifies his behavior accordingly.
Yes, well, that's really clever. And I must tell you, dear, that you in no time have made a case for treating you like a superior by opening doors for you, or getting out of the car and walking around opening a door for you.
Yeah,
What makes you worth all of that, dear?
I wouldn't consider your opening a door.
Speaking of limitations, darling, why would you think you're entitled to that?
I don't think I'm entitled to that, and certainly your ability to turn a knob and open a door like any...
Oh, I can turn a knob and open a door when I'm walking through it, but why would I do it for you?
You wouldn't.
Why, there'd be no good reason to do that, would there?
Even if you did, it wouldn't make you...
So you see, you agree with me that there's no good reason to hold doors open for people like you.
I agree that there's no good reason for you to hold
for anyone.
For a woman.
Oh, there's no good reason for anyone to do it.
In the face, sweetheart.
Well, dear, you've said the same thing 4 times. Is that all the material you have? Do you have any other material?
I think it's the point most...
in other words, all you have the ability to do is to repeat the same phrase over and over, thinking you're clever. What's that, dear?
Until you get it, sweetie.
Oh, dear, you could sit and repeat it all you like. And I will never agree with what you're saying, number one. And number two, listen how clever you think you are. It's fascinating how a woman with a pea brain like yourself calls in here and thinks up a 4-word phrase and continues to repeat it over and over, thinking it's funny.
I'm getting ready to open my bedroom door. I'm getting out my vibrator, and I'm giving myself a salute.
I'll bet you are, because that's the only way you're going to get one.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah. Where's your boyfriend there, dear?
I'm sorry?
Where's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend is actually spending the evening with his children. I'll see him later, but I'm...
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm a 36, 22, 36.
Please, with hair coming out of your nipples and missing a front tooth.
Oh, my neck. Blonde, tan, long legs.
Oh, please. Give me a break.
Yeah.
You are trailer trash from the word go.
No.
What brand of cigarettes do you smoke?
I don't smoke. I'm a registered nurse.
Tattoos?
My bachelor's.
Got me? Tattoos?
I'm self-supportive.
You're earning a bachelor's degree at 37. What have you been doing the last 16 years?
I'm a registered nurse.
I see. Did you just say you're earning a bachelor's degree?
RN is not a BSN.
Did you just say you're earning a bachelor's degree?
No, I said I'm working toward my BSN in nursing.
Oh, you're working towards that now?
Right.
Where are you going for that?
Are
you going to one of those daytime technical institutes like they advertise on daytime TV? Where are you going to school?
I'm going to the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, you're a student there, are you? Are you matriculated?
I'm actually not going to argue.
You're not, are you?
My IQ close.
Yeah, you've matriculated in front of your boyfriend. What?
It's comparable to yours.
What's comparable to mine? Your salary? I doubt it.
Yeah,
your intellect? Don't think so.
But I salute you for recognizing and
Here it comes again. Here it comes again. You're going to say it again.
Until you get it, baby.
Dear, you could say that till you're blue in the face. I'll never acknowledge it, so just keep going. There she hung up. See you next Tuesday, you bitch.
From the cockpit, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
Seen a grown man naked?
And now, here he is, Tom.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No. I am your host, Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it at 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the program. Here we are together again on the radio. That call you just heard brings up something that I've been meaning to talk about on the air, and I want to talk about it this hour. Specifically, the number of amateur psychiatrists and psychologists who listen to this program and somehow think they know me. Now, it goes beyond that because many people who listen think they know me. In fact, if I'm doing the show right, you and I have an intimate relationship. Just us. Most people, when they listen to the radio, listen alone. And I know that I'm talking only to you. Yeah, you. So, of course, people think they know me because they share these intimate moments with me alone. That's why people come up to me in public and act as if we're next-door neighbors or cousins or brothers or buddies because for all they know when they tune in, I'm talking only to them. The way I'm talking only to you. The result of doing this kind of radio program is that all the armchair psychiatrists love to write in and tell me how much they know about me, and specifically, how unhappy they know I really am. I am flooded with emails and calls like the one you just heard from people trying to tell me all the ways that I am miserable. I'll give you some examples because I read the email. You know, when you write to Tom at blowmeuptom.com, it doesn't go to Gary or Dean or Brett or a secretary or anybody else. Before that mail gets to anyone, it goes to me personally. I read it first. And then I decide whether to delete it or to forward it to somebody else for further action, or in a very rare and special instance, and it's rare, respond. And believe me, don't write to me expecting a response, because it almost never happens. If I had to respond to 300-400 emails a day, I'd have no time to do anything else, like come up with stuff to talk about on the radio. But I do read it. One of the most common speculations that are written or phoned into me is that I am very, very unhappy because I haven't discovered Jesus. I'm doing this filthy, disgusting, scatological show. To them, pornographic in nature. And they know that in reality, I'd rather be doing what they call uplifting programming. I would rather be on the air saving the world, improving people's lives, making things better, and that somehow I have just been coming in here for the money because obviously if I had discovered Jesus, I would use my microphone to get people to stop living their sinful ways. That's a very common email that I receive. I don't respond to those ever. And you wouldn't believe the way people write in and they try to appeal to me in every possible way to, fall to my knees immediately and ask God for forgiveness for the show I'm doing. And then what they believe I should do, of course, is even though I've got a contract to come in here and do the kind of show you know, and without giving details about my contract, one I will tell you about is my contract specifically states that I am the host of a controversial program. But that doesn't matter to the letter writer. The letter writer thinks I should violate my contract and instead of doing a controversial program, should come in here and do uplifting, positive programming. I should violate the contract, which obviously would be dishonest and would be in opposition, I would say, to the Ten Commandments, because I promised to come in here and do a controversial show for 6 years. And the letter writer who believes in Jesus wants me to lie to my employer, saying I would do a controversial show, taking all the money, and then turning it around and coming in here and getting you all to sing hymns while I'm on the air. Or whatever. That's one example of a letter writer who thinks I am basically miserable. Other people write in and say that I'm miserable because I've been married and divorced 4 times. And they feel that I'm miserable because I haven't been able to make a marriage work. Like that's the most important thing in my life is making a marriage work. And they believe that my going on the air and saying I love banging chicks and that I love, when I would say I have an Argentine girlfriend and I love having an Argentine girlfriend or whatever, I'm just covering up for the fact that I'm actually very lonely, miserable, and to hear tell from the listeners, I have no friends. I'm a loner. I do this radio program where I pretend that I'm having all this fun, but the reality is I skulk my way back to my lonely house. Like Elvis Presley, I live in English and nobody will talk to me because my show is so offensive that no human being would want to associate with me. So I have no friends, no girlfriend, no wife as far as they know, as far as they care. Got nothing going on in my life. And it really shows. As much as I come on the air and try to sound happy, the armchair psychiatrist knows that in my heart I am truly miserable. And they write to tell me that the jig is up. They know the truth. Don't try going on the air and say you love driving your Lexus or that you love counting your money or you love having a 4-story house in the Hollywood Hills. Because we know better. We know you are miserable. The list goes on. But it is apparent to me that there are many of you who feel you know me and who feel something about me that is bubbling up right beneath the surface, that in some ways my life isn't as good as it's cracked up to be, and that instead of being happy about all the good things that have happened to me, having this great job, making this great money, having the hottest chicks, all the things that I've enjoyed, that in reality I am truly miserable. If you're one of the people who believes that for whatever reason, I want to hear about it right now.
1-800-5800-TOM.
The more money you make, the more power you have. The more power you have, the more money you have. The more money you have, the more power you have. The more money and power you have, the more poon you can consume.
The Tom Leykis Show.
On 100.7, The Buzz of Seattle.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. All right. This hour, all the armchair psychiatrists, psychologists, family counselors, psychics, numerologists, Ouija board operators, those of you who think that by listening to the radio, you know that I am not as happy as I say I am, that I am truly unhappy, truly miserable, truly alone. You are the person I want to talk to at 1-800-5800-TOM. Teresa on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
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 Are you there?
No, I left the room.
Anyhow, I just tuned in and it's like, I can't understand how you couldn't be happy with...
How I couldn't be happy? You're right,
Yeah,
I am happy.
Well, of course you're happy. Anybody that has their own show that gets to rank on other people and infect everybody else would have to be happy.
Including you.
And, well, yeah.
I mean, if you're banging chicks constantly and you're overweight and all those things, how could you not be happy? I think all people that are like that must just be happy. And
I don't know about other people. I can only speak for myself.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the psychologist just must be confused because...
Well, dear, what are your credentials? Let's hear them.
How could you just not be happy?
Darling, what are your credentials? Are you a psychiatrist?
No. Actually, I'm in the dental field.
Oh, you're in the dental field. I see.
So I'm actually calling thinking, I listen to your show all the time, and I think,
Well, isn't it amazing that a person as miserable and wretched as myself can appeal to a discerning listener such as you?
Well, exactly. And I think, you must be happy. I mean... I'm
thrilled that I am able to cajole miserable, unhappy women like yourself to listen day in and day out. You're miserably unhappy, and you continue to listen. It's amazing.
I know. It is amazing. But like I said, I mean, what person that sits around that supposedly gets to bang people and talk nasty about other people wouldn't be happy?
Well, you're right, especially if they made the kind of money I make to talk to people like you.
Exactly.
In fact, what is amazing is that the program content of this show largely consists of getting unwitting, unsuspecting people who are being paid nothing to contribute angry, mean content like yourself for no charge, and I get to exploit that and get paid a seven-figure income to listen to miserable See You Next Tuesdays like yourself.
I know. It's incredible. You're very fortunate.
I believe me, I am blessed.
Well, good.
And I know it.
I know.
Well, by the way, what's your husband's name, darling?
What's that?
What's your husband's name?
Scott.
Scott. How does he tolerate it?
How did it? I don't know. He just likes it. Mm-hmm. The fact that I'm a smart aleck, you mean?
Well, you think you're a smart aleck. You're not that smart.
What am I?
You know what? You're just a miserable bitch. 1-800-5800-TOM. Don't lob a softball into me. I'm going to hit it right over the fence. There it goes. It's Mark on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Mark.
This is why I think you might be miserable.
Okay.
You signed a 14-page prenup.
No, you're wrong. I signed a 32-page prenup.
32-page, excuse me. You come home one night, you ask your wife for something to eat, she says, get it yourself. I wish I could have saw your face when that happened. When 9/11 came along, your family wouldn't even talk to you. That's a very tragic event.
Well, you realize that the vast majority of them I have no interest in speaking to.
Tom, that's your family. That's blood.
It doesn't matter. The vast majority of those people I have very little interest in speaking to.
But when you die, where's your money going to go? Where's that seven-figure income going to go to? It's not going to go to them. They don't want it. I'm sure they'd be happy to have it. But yeah, but how do you feel knowing that none of them are going to come to your funeral?
I'll be dead. I won't know the difference. Think about it. All right, it's 1-800-5800-TOM. All you armchair psychiatrists who think you know me and that I'm truly miserable, call me now.
The Tom Leykis Show.
3:30 on 1.
This is the Tom Leykis Show.
At 1-800-5800-TOM. I want to thank all the people who are calling in to support me here and say that they know that I am truly a happy individual. But unfortunately, the people who love the show and like what I do and believe when I tell them that I'm happy, making money, getting laid, boozing and cruising and going to Vegas with my boys and traveling all the time, those people have been crowding out the people who think that I am miserably unhappy. So Dean has had to politely say goodbye to literally hundreds of people who've been calling in to say, oh, no, we love the show, we love Tom, that's great. Dean's had to hang up on them to make room for the people who know how truly unhappy I am, or who think they know how truly unhappy I am. So if you are one of those people who believes that by listening to this program you have figured out that I am a just very unhappy individual, that I'd be much happier doing something else or doing someone else, that I don't like my work, that I don't like the money I make, that I am on the inside just Well, I'm laughing on the outside, crying on the inside, as the old song once said. If you feel that way about me, Dean has cleared the lines of all the sycophants. Now we can talk to you, toll free here at 1-800-5800-TOM. It's 1-800-5800-866. Again, Dean has cleared the lines of hundreds of sycophants to leave lines open for the people who feel they know me best, the people who feel that despite my happy demeanor on the air, that they know. Are you one of these people? They know that I am truly unhappy. So you can call us right now. Again, Dean hung up on all the sycophants and left lines open for the people who know how miserable I truly am inside. 1-800-5800-TOM is the telephone number. Carlos on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom, what's happening, man?
Just doing a radio show, Carlos.
Great, fantastic. Hey, I don't know if you really like or if you're miserable or not, but how do you feel when some poor guy torques your girlfriend or your wife?
Hasn't happened recently.
Well, it hasn't happened recently, but how do you know it won't happen again? You know you are pretty ugly.
Well, there you go, Carlos. So was the idea of this to call in and insult me or the idea to analyze me?
Well, not so much insult you, but you know.
Because I know I'm homely. I've said that on the air. I mean, you're not revealing any information that people don't already know about me. Clearly, by the fact that I'm on the radio, you know that I'm absolutely hideous.
Right.
So, do you think that you're revealing information that people don't know? You're embarrassing me somehow?
No, I don't think I'm embarrassed.
No, I am hideously ugly, so what?
I'm wondering how you feel when some poor guy,
Well, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because I got more money than the construction worker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How do you feel when some poor guy...
It doesn't happen. Well, I'll tell you what, Carlos, if you have information that I don't, share it with us.
No, I don't, but I'm saying in the future, I mean, how long...
Well, if it happens, I will dump that bitch. It's as simple as that.
But how long are you going to be doing that, Tom? For the rest of your life?
Maybe so.
And ugly dumping bitches because you can't keep them?
Let me tell you something. I have dumped. I have not been the dumpee. Not in a very long time.
Well, either way, I mean, it takes a lot of work and effort to make a relationship work, and since you can't do that...
Well, really? How much do you know about that? How long have you been married, though?
6 years.
6 long years.
Yeah,
well, you are certainly the end-all and be-all. You are certainly the expert. And you are a construction worker, is that the deal?
That is the deal.
I'm hardly shocked.
I'm big, strong, green eyes. I'm telling you, I could take a girl in a second, but I am...
Really? I'll tell you what. Why don't you take your best shot?
Well, what can I try?
You know where I appear, pal. You come on down and give it a shot.
Actually, I really don't know. I mean, where would be a...
Pal, if you listen to the radio, we announce where I'm appearing all the time. You just come on down and try.
Well, like I said, us poor guys, how do you feel when...
Well, you can't afford gas? Come down to my next broadcast? Come on. You know where I'm appearing. Next time I'm there, big man, you come down and prove your point. I'm waiting.
Okay.
All right, I'm waiting for it.
Where do you want to meet and when?
No. When next time I do an appearance, you come down.
I'm asking, where's your next appearance?
You will hear it announced on the air, and when it is, you plan on being there.
Okay, you remember me when this happens.
Don't worry, I'll be waiting to see. I tell you what, bring a camera.
And again?
Take pictures. You could really make me miserable, I'm sure, by not only doing it, but photographing her effing you and then sending it to me. Okay?
You're the man, Tom.
And by the way, you will never show up at a broadcast and try to do any such thing.
You're the man, Tom.
I know. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. These are the armchairs who know in their heart of hearts that I am truly miserable, like Monty. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Monty.
Hey. I like your show. I listen to it all the time, but I got to tell you, Tom, I think in a lot of ways you come across as being insecure.
How so?
Well, the fact that you...
Insecure but miserable.
Well, I think you probably are happy, but not completely. I think that your insecurities lend them, a little bit of unhappiness. If you were not
I'm listening. I'd like to hear.
Okay, well, just the fact that you all the time you mention your income, the amount of money that you make.
Yes, I do. Well, I mention it generally, if you notice. I mention it when people call in and tell me that I stink, my show sucks, I'm a loser. Well, obviously, I have to use the evidence I have at hand to prove that's not true.
Okay, that's fair.
I generally don't bring it up unless somebody starts putting me in a corner. And then I obviously have to come out with the very strong evidence I have that they're wrong.
Okay. The only other point that I would make is that, and by the way, congratulations on losing the weight that you did.
Thank you.
But during that time, I noticed that you talked a lot about fat people.
Right.
And I think...
Why do you think I know so much about it?
Well, because it's something that's close to you. You experienced it.
Exactly.
But I just...
So doesn't it make sense that I talked a lot about that?
Oh, it does.
There you go. So what's your point?
The way that you put fat people down so often just shows that you were insecure about your own weight.
But not even a matter of insecurity. I was as tough on myself as I was on anybody else, and that's why I started going to the gym and getting tough.
Okay, well,
so that's what happened. And you know what? Any fat person out there who's listening could be doing what I'm doing. Most of them are too lazy to do it.
I'm with you there, Tom. You still doing it?
Yeah. I was at my trainer today, pal.
All right. Well, congratulations. Hey, I don't always agree with you, but listen to the show all the time.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
The radio woman on the radio getting the same ratings that you're getting. She'll supposed to get paid the same.
I'm not talking. Well, put it this way. No woman gets the ratings I get.
The Tom Leykis Show. 100.7.
The buzz of Seattle.
Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. I'm talking to people who, despite my cheerful demeanor on the air, people who feel they know me better, and they feel that they know. In my heart, I am truly an unhappy, miserable individual. This is Roz on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement, Roz?
Yeah, hi. Well, a statement. I think that you're not necessarily completely depressed, but I think that your job is difficult, kind of like a social worker or a psychiatrist with the callers that you get.
Yeah.
And in saying that, I think that you meet a lot of kooks, and it can be depressing, talking to people on, sometimes such a down level that you have to deal with people, and you're always having to recreate the show, and where you direct the show, you're always trying to kind of reach into the bowels of society or people or
kind of like a radio proctologist, as it were.
I guess, and I think that I think that's a difficult job, and I think in that today's topic is kind of your way of maybe pointing out to your own audience that your job isn't as easy as the 7 digits maybe seem to try to lead to.
Well, many of these people, the armchair psychiatrists out there who think they know me, many of them feel they could do this job just as easily as I could, and they're all just being completely ridiculous, because if they could make 7 figures for doing a job this easy, why don't they come down here to the radio station and do it?
Well, because you can't, because it's not that easy.
That's
and I
right.
think that it's not that easy being so creative. You are a creative person, and you do constantly, like I say, create your show every day, and you have to come up with interesting subjects. I think there'd be a lot of pressure in that. I think it's probably a fun job at times, and there's glamorous aspects of it, which is great. But I don't know. I just think probably it's not as easy as a lot of these people think. The reason I called in, as a matter of fact, is acquainted with the callers' answers when you were reaching out and saying, okay, you psychiatrist, call my show and give me some kind of feedback, and nobody was really coming up with anything that...
Well, I mean, people were taking the opportunity to take shots at me because there are a lot of people who are jealous of what I've accomplished. They would love to be me. They would love to be here at the radio station doing what I do. And because they are so miserably unhappy at whatever it is they do, they feel somehow that they can penetrate this thick coat of armor that I wear. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a big boy in every sense of the word. And I can take the hits from anybody. Believe me, I've gotten a lot worse than the amateurs who call in.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it difficult? Do you feel a little bit, I don't know, like there's some pressure on you?
That's on me is being in competition just in my home market of alone against 81 other radio stations, including 12 spoken word formats on the air. that compete for my audience every day just in Los Angeles, not counting Seattle and Portland and Baltimore and all the other places we're on. I just came back from Las Vegas.
Basically what you're saying is welcome to the real competitive world.
That's what it is.
That we all live and breathe in, and we're all facing some kind of competitiveness, just in different forms, and yours happens to be under the public eye. So there's a lot more pressure in that, don't you think?
Oh, there's pressure. But by the same token, pressure is what makes it good. Bottom line. Lisa on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good, Lisa.
Good. I think you're miserable. I think you're very good at what you do, but I think you're a very unhappy person.
Tell me why.
Well, I listen to you talk, and you always say, I got a lot of money. I've got money. And you don't believe in God. I mean, everybody has a belief in something.
Well, that's not true. Everybody doesn't.
Well, not everybody. There are atheists that don't believe in anything.
Yes, we don't believe in a higher power. We don't believe in a deity. But it doesn't mean we don't believe in anything. I believe in electricity.
Okay.
I believe the sun will come up tomorrow. I mean, there are a bunch of things I believe.
Yeah, but I think someone must have hurt you deeply. Hurt you a lot when you were a child, and
really?
As a result of that, you were driven to make a lot of money. And I don't know your thinking, but maybe you thought, well, I'll show them. I'll go out. I'll work. I'll become successful.
You know what? That is not only me. I think that's everybody who's ever been driven to be successful.
Right, but I think in your case, it's like, well, you find your comfort in your money because you always.
And why wouldn't I? Because I can quantify my success with a decimal point.
You can't talk back to you. You feel bad. Won't tell you go and do it yourself.
It makes me happy.
This is true. And I think that's where you find your happiness. But other than that, if you were to have your money all taken away from you, you'd be miserable.
Well, that's why I would never allow that to happen, dear.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
You know the definitions of the word slut and the word bitch, right?
No.
A slut is anyone who's had more sex than I've had. You know what a bitch is?
What's that?
A bitch is a slut who'll sleep with everybody but me.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Jessica. These are people who know that despite the fact that I tell you I'm happy, they know that I am truly miserable. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
This is Jessica.
Yes, I know. I just said that.
Okay. I want to know why you're always talking about fat people and poor people and, how come you never talk about anything else? I mean, that subject's old. And
what does that have? Wait, this is not a critique of the program. Did you understand the question?
I sure did.
All right. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay. Anyhow.
So there are days we ask you to call in and critique the show or critique me, but that's not what we're doing. I'm asking people to call in if they think that despite the fact that I say I'm happy, in reality I'm miserable.
Right.
And obviously you have nothing to say about that.
Okay, well, let me finish.
Well, I'll let you finish if what you say is relevant to the topic at hand. If it isn't, I will cut you off in mid-sentence.
I have a point. So anyhow, the reason why you're always bashing fat people, whatever, is because you're fat yourself and you have so much insecurity. And for you to say...
By the way, could you turn the radio off, please?
Okay.
Which Dino told you to do, and that would be now, right now?
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay.
Okay. So, and the reason why you put down fat people, you're fat yourself, and it makes you feel better. And how about if you get cancer or AIDS or whatever? Is money going to make you happy then?
Well, certainly I'll get the best medical care. Something that most people can't afford.
Okay, AIDS, there's no cure for AIDS. So
but there's all kinds of ways to prolong your life if that were to happen, and of course the odds of that are slim.
Well,
a man as fat as myself is highly unlikely to be an AIDS victim.
It doesn't matter. Money can't buy you a cure.
I see. Mm-hmm. And so, clearly you're angry about me or about the show or whatever, but what makes you think I'm unhappy? I mean, nothing you've said has indicated my unhappiness, only yours.
With your money and whatever, but I know for sure you're probably insecure. you're overweight and you're ugly. I've seen your picture.
I have not only copped to being hideous and homely. I've told you on the air that the people who are on radio, that is what we look like. That's why we're not on TV.
Well, I mean,
so if you think that you're going to insult me or increase your perceived unhappiness,
this is the truth.
What?
This is the truth.
What is
You're
the truth?
Fat and ugly, and I mean.
Well, how many times are you going to say the same thing? You have. You talk about me repeating things all the time. This whole call has been you repeating the same two items.
The other day you were talking about premiums going up with fat people. Excuse me, what about people who have cancer and AIDS? But they need treatment all the time.
But they didn't do it to themselves.
It doesn't matter.
They didn't do it to themselves. That's the difference, darling. By the way, how fat are you, dear?
I'm 130 pounds. I'm 5'5".
So you are fat. All right. Just checking. Our email address is my name. It's Tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.